Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, we are live as always. Glad you're with us the first day of March 1st. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on Sports Scene, interview show every Wednesday, noon to 1. Also sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about 1650. Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnline.com. The radio station's Twitter is WHKT AM 1650. Thank you to our military and our great guest lineup as well. Sponsors on GJBTV.com and Hampton Roads Online.com. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 great locations in Virginia Beach, serving delicious Mexican food. Phone line presented by the Newport News Greek Festival, going on June 1st to June 4th. The 50th anniversary. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. As you've already been hearing, the commercial is 3 months away. Wizards on 1650 got a big win over Golden State last night. Select games back on the air Sunday against the Magic. March Madness are right around the corner. Spring training in baseball is going on as well. Sponsors in March on WHKT for me: Spaghetti Yetis, Crawl Space Stores, Fink's Car Care, Mihogar, and the Newport News Greek Festival on Wizards and Sports Scene. We're all about great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, and what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene each week, and we love our regulars and newcomers as well. You can connect and listen on 1650 AM, TuneIn.com by typing in WHKT, GJBTV.com by hitting the YouTube link for archive shows. With Joe Daniel, Greg Bicouvaris, stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. Mark your calendar for June 1st through June 4th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the 50th anniversary of this signature event on the peninsula, and it will be special. The Newport News Greek Festival is located at 60 Travis Road, off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Oh yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes it, scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for 3, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at GC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Yetis. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiYetispizzacafe.com.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
And welcome back live right here in the sports scene, right here in the Virginia Beach area. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on this March 1st. Beautiful day, beautiful weather still, technically in the winter. Of course, sports scene every Wednesday, noon to 1, 1650 AM. TuneIn.com by typing in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer as well. And my background on GJBTV.com, at Greg Bick on Twitter. Well, folks, if you've been to a Washington Bullets game in the past or Washington Wizards, the chances are you've probably seen this gentleman on the court at one time or another since the 1970s. Let's welcome Dolph Sand. How are you, Dolph?
I'm terrific, Greg. How are you?
Good, my friend. I saw you last night. You must have been pleased. First of all, nice win over Golden State.
That was a special win for the team. We had just dropped 2 after the break, and after coming into the break as well as we were playing, it was a little bit of a down for 2 games, but last night made up for all of that for sure.
Absolutely. Before we talk about this year's Wizards, let's talk about your background. Of course, you've been a lawyer, and you've been involved with the Bullets and the Wizards since the 70s back at the Capitol Center. How did you get started?
I got started because baseball left Washington in 1972 when the Senators moved to Texas. And friends of mine were broadcasting the Senators games, and they had a 3-year contract that was now empty because there was nothing to broadcast, so they talked the station manager into picking up the last year in Baltimore for the Bullets and the first 2 years in Landover. And the broadcasters who did that asked me if I would work with them doing statistics on the radio. Mm-hmm. And I said I never had done statistics in professional basketball, and they said that was okay because neither of them had ever broadcast professional basketball.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much from there it went on, and there were so many great memories there. And, of course, you worked with so many great statisticians, too, and people in the media as well. Marty Aronoff's been there for a long time. You worked with, at one time back in the day, Johnny Holiday. And, of course, you used to see Larry King once in a while, too.
That's true. Larry used to show up in the press room at the Capitol Center for a free meal and a free seat at a game. But Johnny Holiday and I have been friends, believe it or not, since 1960. Mm-hmm. And we still are friends, and I still talk with him regularly. He's one of the all-time greats, and he is one of the 2 broadcasters that were doing the Bullets in Baltimore and had been previously working on the Washington Senators. And that's how I got involved.
Well, talk about the Capitol Center. What is a special place? Of course, it was in Maryland, right near where the Redskins play now, and there was a lot of consistency there. And, of course, that's where Unseld and Dandridge and Hayes and, so many great players like Malone played at. There were a lot of special memories, and, of course, they won the championship in the late 70s as well.
It was a great building for its day. Mr. Poland found the land through some political connections, etc., and he built that arena with his own money, just like he built the Verizon Center with his own money. Mm-hmm. You won't find that happening in today's professional sports universe. So it was just a great place to spend time. And for me, I had worked all day. I'm a lawyer. I'm now a retired lawyer, mm-hmm. but that transition, driving out to the Capitol Center and now spending 4 or 5 hours out there, was a great, great release, a great hobby, a whole lot of fun for me.
How difficult was that, though, when you were working full-time as a lawyer and trying to get to Maryland in that type of rush hour traffic? That must have been daunting sometimes.
Sometimes it was, but I didn't have as many pregame responsibilities back then. I didn't have that much that I really had to do leading up to a game, so it wasn't that much pressure. And look, I always thought that ride, that half-hour ride from the city out, was a transitioning period in my mind. I sort of put the day's work behind me and looked forward to whatever was going to come up. And usually, what came up, certainly in the 70s, was a spectacular show by a wonderful professional basketball team.
We're talking to Dolph Sand right here on 1650 AM. Of course, we have several mutual friends. Dave Johnson, a good friend of mine, and we carry 10 of the Wizards games here on the radio. We'll be carrying the Magic game this Sunday. But before we talk again about the current stuff, some of the coaches that coach the Bullets and the Wizards, like Shue and Casey Jones and Unseld and Lynham, Bickerstaff, Collins. You had a lot of Dick Motta, of course. So many great coaches over the decades that you've seen up close and personal.
And it's interesting to have watched all of them. I mean, Gene Shue coached the team twice, and was particularly successful in the days in Baltimore, and wasn't quite so successful. But I've seen Gene in the last couple of years. He lives in Venice, California, and he's just doing tremendous. And you feel good about that. Wes Unseld, of course, is an icon. There's little you can say about him that hasn't already been said. He's a Hall of Fame basketball player, and he's a Hall of Fame human being. He's just a wonderful person. Dick Motta got me a championship ring, so I am forever indebted to Dick Motta. And I think when you mentioned Doug Collins, he's sort of special, both for being a terrific basketball coach, and I think along with Hubie Brown, he is the best professional basketball analyst ever. He can make the simplest issue understandable for everyone, just as he can make the most complicated issue understandable for everyone. Dougie's a great guy, and I've watched him since his first years playing with Philadelphia.
Even the late Flip Saunders, who recently passed away, Whitman, and of course now Scott Brooks, as we're talking to Dolph Sand, who's synonymous with the Bullets and the Wizards. And when I think about you, Dolph, I remember as a kid when I went to George Mason, used to see you on the Cap Center, and now as a professional as well, still see you there as well. Is consistency, has it always been part of your life to have a routine that you know you're going to work those 40-plus Wizards games a year, plus the playoffs? Has it always been instilled to you since the days you were a young lawyer?
Yeah, mostly because it's fun. I mean, the idea of working hard all day and being relatively successful at what I had been doing, it just gave me something else to do. And a side effect of it was my son, who was born in 1983 and started coming to basketball games, almost immediately, even as an infant, grew up being a big fan of the Bullets in those days. And when he got to be old enough to really understand what was going on, I would take him and one of his friends into the locker room after a game, and they would be treated unbelievably well by, like, Juwan Howard and Chris Webber. John David is my son, and Patrick Reese, who's his best friend, who also is a Wizards PR director. Pat and J.D. loved the Michigan team, the Fab Five. And when they got into the locker room and met Chris and Juwan many, many times, they'd get headbands and wristbands and just have a good time doing it. And they've become... Juwan doesn't even come to Washington ever without asking how my son is. I mean, that's the kind of guy, and that's why he's been in professional basketball as long as he has, and will remain there. He's a coach with the Miami Heat now, and everybody knows what Chris Webber is doing on TNT. So those two guys are special people for my family, to be very honest with you about that.
Right, a lot of great memories. And, too, you saw the transition from the Bullets to the Wizards. There was talk that the Bullets name would get back. I'm glad they got the traditional uniforms. I really didn't like the blue uniforms they had several years ago, because those really weren't what A. Pollin envisioned. He had the red, white, and blue that Unseld and Bobby Dandridge wore. What are your thoughts on the uniforms and some of the traditions of the Bullets and the Wizards?
Well, that's a great question. I first of all, when we were moving from Landover, home here, and I say home because I actually live across the street from the Verizon Center. I wanted the name change to be the Dragons.
Wow!
Because I thought moving to Chinatown, the Dragons would be a great name, and you could use a variety of different colors like red and yellow, etc. But I didn't have a vote in that decision. Mr. Pollin decided that he liked that, and we became the Wizards. And the uniform changes have been interesting, and the color changes have been interesting, but the fact that we're now back to red, white, and blue, I think the players, in fact, like it much more. It's reflective of the city that we live in and play in, and I love it. I just think it's just the right colors, the right uniforms, the right types for this team in this city. But now every team has 4 and 5 different uniforms, I guess, so somebody can make money. But I think we're doing it exactly right now.
Right. Talking to Dolph Sand right here, and this show will be archived on gjbtv.com by hitting the YouTube link later this evening. A pleasure to talk to Dolph. And Dolph, you talk about the Verizon Center since you're so close by there. I love that building. It's a beautiful building. It's very accessible. Of course, the Capitals play there, the Wizards, Georgetown. They have concerts. The WNBA team played there for several years. And, of course, they'll have special NCAA tournaments or other venues. What are your thoughts on the Verizon Center in general, not just for basketball, but for everything?
I think it's certainly an all-purpose building. I mean, you have rock concerts there almost weekly when the Caps and the Wizards aren't playing. It's lent itself to a lot of things. It's close to metro stops. The number of restaurants in the area have mushroomed in the almost 20 years that we've been here. Mm-hmm. So I think just the neighborhood has changed. Everything has changed because the building was built right here in the middle of Chinatown. And I think the city has taken advantage of it by looking at the number of restaurants, the kind of tax revenue that comes in from the hotels around here, the restaurants around here, and certainly from ticketing in the building. But and the Mystics, we can't overlook the Mystics. I'm not here to hustle them, but this off season to get Elena Delle Donne and young Miss Tolliver is an absolutely wonderful addition to what could be a really, really good team this year.
Absolutely. Of course, let's talk about the Wizards right now in good shape to make the postseason. And, of course, they got Toronto on the road today. Then they got Toronto at home. And then the Magic on Sunday. What are your thoughts as the season comes close to an end?
Well, we got 22 games or so left, if I'm not mistaken. And these two games back-to-back with Toronto tonight and Friday are obviously important games, and we have a very slight advantage in that Kyle Lowry's not playing, which certainly helps us. Kyle Lowry's not only an all-star, but an absolutely wonderful basketball player, and he's a real challenge for whoever is playing against him in the backcourt, usually John, obviously. But I think that we have an unbelievably horrible schedule this month. It's rare that you have two West Coast trips in 1 month, and we do this month. So get the wins while we can. If we can get them early while we're not really on the road a lot, this weekend will be a big, between now and Sunday, will be 3 big games for us. And if we can stay ahead of Toronto and stay third, that's a pretty good spot to be in the playoffs. I mean, I'd be happy with fourth. I'd like to have a home court advantage, which we have not had since, I think, 1979, but my memory is usually failing. But I'm looking very much forward to closing out March and April on a high note.
Yeah, and of course, playoffs are right around the corner, too, and they made the postseason in 14 and 15, did not make it last year. They've had Toronto's number in the postseason. They showed that a few years ago, but it'll be interesting. One thing, too, Dolph, you noticed this, too, there's a lot of weekday games in March, maybe, but not many weekend games.
Go figure.
Why is that?
I think one of the things is that the league has a daunting task in scheduling 82 games for that number of teams. And the same thing goes with hockey because there's so many multi-use buildings. I mean, that makes it difficult. And when you're not having weekend games, I think it hurts you revenue-wise. I mean, obviously people are more able to come out and spend money and spend time on the weekends than they are on weeknights. But look, it's a schedule that's there. We've known what it's been since July and August, and we're going to play in it like everybody else does.
Right. Talking to Dolph Sand right here with the Wizards, of course, and you look at the Wizards, of course, there's such a great history there, either at the Capitol Center or the Verizon Center, of course, and now it's all about this year's team. And you saw the players, against Golden State who won the championships before, and your thoughts on how Brooks has molded this team, especially Beal and Wall. There's been some talk about the bench has not been as good or the defense, but it seems like the team, for the most part, has been really consistent since February 1st.
Well, I want to go back even farther than that. I think when we started the season out 2-8, too many people were doing the woe is me routine around here, which is often common in Washington, to say the very least. But I think that when you're adding 8 new players and an entire new coaching staff, you got to give a team at least until Christmas, which is what I was, arguing for in November. And it turns out that I wasn't too far off, because our record since the first of the year matches up with almost anybody right now, especially at home. I mean, only Golden State and Cleveland have more home wins than we do. I mean, that says a lot. I just think that Scott Brooks has done an unbelievable job in a bunch of different ways. One of them is chemistry. I think that he has made people believe in each other, and when you believe in each other, particularly on defense, you're going to perform better. I think the fact that he was a guard in the NBA for a number of years helps John and Brad a lot, and he understands what they have to go through, having experienced it himself. And I think that he's done a remarkable job, as have his assistants, again, who had to get to know an entire new roster. And I think the coaching staff has performed at least as well as the team has performed.
Right, because he had Durant and Westbrook at OKC, and that kind of helped him with the Beal and Wall dynamic when, there's only one basketball among the several players on the bench, too.
And if you watch now on offense, in particular last night, that extra pass that's thrown, whether it's to a guy open for a three, just instills confidence. You're going to work harder. You're going to cut more to the basket. You're going to do everything you can to get open when you know you have a guy like John who can pass the ball as well as anybody in the NBA, I say. And Bradley is wonderful handling the ball as well. So I just think that the confidence in each other, the comfort, the trust has really made a difference, and it's got to come from Scotty.
Obviously, you're a lawyer. You're in Washington, D.C. Tell the audience, new president, your thoughts on Trump and your thoughts on that whole political chaos in D.C. Because a lot of politicians you've seen a lot over the years at a lot of the Verizon Center games.
Yeah, I have, and I've been a fan of politics. My earliest recollection goes back to the 1952 Republican primary fight and convention fight between Eisenhower and Taft. I'm an Ohio person. I grew up in Cleveland. And I was paying attention because Taft was a senator from Ohio, and I was 10 years old at the time, which is probably giving away my age right now, but I don't know if your audience can add, but that's how old I am. But the bottom line really is I've never seen anything like the chaos that's going on here. I've never seen a cabinet appointed like this. I've never seen a campaign that went like this. And if it sounds like I'm not happy with the results of the election, that would be correct.
Well, let me ask you mentioned Cleveland, too, and didn't a while back that you accompanied the Wizards on a road trip several years ago back to Cleveland?
Oh, I have, yes. It's fun. It's fun for me to go back. Not that many of my high school friends are big basketball fans, but when I come back, you get to go places and see things that you haven't seen for a long time. I mean, I left home to go to college when I was 18 years old, and the Cavaliers weren't even in existence then. So people ask me if I was a Cavs fan. No, I've never been a Cavs fan because there were no Cavs. I was a big fan of the Cleveland Pipers in the American Basketball League, who had some really, really good players on the team and a great coach. Johnny McClendon from Tennessee State was a great coach, and he gave that team Dick Barnett, who later went on to play for the Knicks and become a great, great basketball player. So I've been a basketball fan for a long time, but I certainly never was a Cavs fan.
Of course, Poland was the owner of Leonsis. Are you amazed how many properties Leonsis has? And now he's going to have an indoor football team in the Verizon Center. And I've worked a lot of games there too, Dolph, and I'm just kind of amazed how an indoor football team is going to play in that venue.
Well, we wondered about that when we had box lacrosse at the Capitol Center. And if they can do it in the other cities that they've been doing it, they can do it here. I mean, our facilities people in this building are wonderful. The transition from hockey to basketball or basketball to hockey being done in a couple of hours has always amazed me. And I think that the building can handle it, and I think that Ted and his partners have actually two teams in the Arena Football League. The Baltimore team is owned by them as well. So that'll be an interesting contest to see when the Baltimore and Washington teams play against each other. Who do they root for?
Right, just like the Redskins and the Ravens. And finally, I was at the game against New Orleans a few weeks ago in February, and a friend of mine asked, is that the same floor that Georgetown uses? I told her, absolutely not. There's two different floors.
Yes, completely.
Right.
And the same thing with Mystics.
Yeah.
There's obviously rules for it, but colleges have to have their own college floor. I mean, there's rules about this that I'm not, aware of, but we clearly have two significantly different floors. And when you're making a transition from a Georgetown game at noon to a Wizards game at 7 or 8, you have to do the same thing as if you're going from hockey to basketball or basketball to hockey. Everything is different.
Yeah, with safety, that's never easy. Dolph, finally leave us. How far do you think this Wizards team can go in 2017?
Well, if you saw the Cleveland game that we played in last month, you got to believe that we're at least in contention to play with them. If you're playing in a 7-game series, anything can happen. Injuries happen. I mean, look with Kevin last night, what happened.
Right.
So I think that you want to be healthy, you want to be confident, and you want to be able to get through some rounds. And this team can clearly go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Staying healthy and playing the way we're playing, we clearly can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Dolph, thank you for your time and your talent and your treasure. All the best to you and the Wizards, and for your decades of service to the great NBA team, and hope to see you in the future.
Thanks, Greg. Be happy to see you as soon as you get back up here.
Thank you, my friend. A real treasure right there. And Dolph Sand with the Washington Wizards and formerly the Washington Bullets, all brought to you by Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach at 1255 Fordham Drive. Delicious lunch and dinner 7 nights a week. Great appetizers, great entrees, great desserts, a kids menu, excellent burger, steak, pasta, and seafood. Go by and see Mike and the friendly staff right there at 1255 Fordham Drive. Give them a call at 523-4832. Watch all your favorite teams on TV. Enjoy delicious food, appetizers, and desserts at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville at 1255 Fordham Drive. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, listening to today's broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on TuneIn.com. Also, thanks for all that you do. We hope you're enjoying today's version of Sports Scene. Go to TuneIn.com by typing in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Also brought to you in part by Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, and sports. Excellent food right there in Newport News, right off of Jefferson Avenue by Patrick Henry Mall. Shareables, wedges, fries, drinks, delicious wings, excellent sauces. They got a fish sandwich right now they're showcasing for the Lent season. Great wings, both boneless and traditional. Watch the NBA, NHL, college basketball, March Madness. They're always giving back to the community at Buffalo Wild Wings as well. Their website is buffalowildwings.com, where you can order very easily, get some great wings, party menu, great place to showcase sports on TV, wall-to-wall TVs by Paul and the friendly staff at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Stay tuned. Sports Scene will continue after this.
Oh, yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes and scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for 3, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at GC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris, inviting you to join me for Sports Scene live each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 and TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in the search box. Excellent guests and interaction at Greg Bick on Twitter, all powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedoors.com. Stay dry, my friends.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And I want to thank Dolph Sand right there. What a history, knowledge of the Bullets and the Wizards he has. I'm still involved with him today during game day operations. Of course, this show will be archived at gjbtv.com by hitting the YouTube link as well on this beautiful March 1st, of course. And shop on the marketplace sponsors of gjbtv.com and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, and visit. Save the date each Wednesday for 12 to 1 for Sports Scene. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. The specialty place to find services, marketplace, retail, services, restaurants, all inclusive, all in one place on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, celebrating 3 years this summer, serving Hampton Roads and beyond. The local and tourist choice is HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. And of course, you've got to eat. And of course, Panda Express right there at 5009 Victory Boulevard in Yorktown. You can order online as well. Delicious, real ingredients, freshly prepared every day. We walk the talk at Panda Express. They've got great entrees like orange chicken. They've got honey walnut shrimp, grilled teriyaki chicken, black pepper chicken, yum, 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 mushroom chicken, kung pao chicken as well. And of course, string bean chicken breast as well, egg rolls, crispy shrimp, pot stickers, delicious beverages as well, a la carte boxes, family feast. Right there, go by and see Ken and the friendly staff at 5009 Victory Boulevard, Yorktown. Give them a call at 898-1916. Panda Express Chinese Kitchen as well. All right, let's welcome our regular each Wednesday right here live on Sports Scene on the radio. Folks, you can listen 1650 AM on the dial or tunein.com by typing in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Walt Ruff, how are you, my friend?
Greg, I'm doing well. You're making me hungry with that Panda Express plug, though. How are you?
This is like the food central headquarters here, my friend.
It always is. It always sounds good, too.
Yeah, and of course, you can find good food right there during the Admirals hockey games.
That's right. We've got a plethora of options down here. A lot of good stuff on Granby Street, too, so not a bad spot to be.
Yes. All right, let's talk lay of the land. The record is 20-30-4. Where does the team stand the rest of the season?
Well, we are going to head into a jam-packed month of March coming up this weekend. We are home this Friday and Saturday night taking on the Elmira Jackals down here at Scope. The Jackals and Admirals have had a tight series all season long. The Admirals hold the season series lead at 3-2 right now. So these are expected to be two pretty good games down here at Scope, and then the team will travel to Reading on Sunday. We invite everyone to come down. On Saturday is our 9th annual Guns and Hoses game, which the very best of the Hampton Roads Police and Fire Department will go at it at 3 p.m. It's an afternoon puck drop. You only need one ticket. If you have a ticket for the Admirals game, come out and support our local heroes in the afternoon. 2 games for the price of one. Pretty good deal.
We're talking to Walt Ruff with the Norfolk Admirals. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us at 12:39 right here on Sports Scene. And you talk about a lot of stuff going on, including the green ice later this month.
We are really excited for our St. Patrick's Day weekend, Greg. We are home both Friday the 17th against the Reading Royals. We have got a huge drink specials promotion going on that night. To be compliant with the Virginia alcohol board, I can't say the exact price, but we've got some pretty good discounts going on that evening. We'd like everyone to come down and join us there. Continue the party all night long on Granby Street, and then on Saturday we've got the green ice and green jerseys on Friday as well. The green jerseys will be auctioned off after Saturday's game to benefit MDA research. We're really excited to be partnering with PAPCO for that cause again for yet another year. That's an exciting night. We've got a hat giveaway presented by BB&T for the first 2,000 folks. We've got a ton of stuff going on. It's also Pucks and Paws night, so you can bring your dog to the game for just a $5 donation to one of our local animal shelters that we've partnered with for that night. We've also dubbed Saturday the 18th Sell Out the Scope night. So our attendance numbers, we're looking for our first sellout since our second stint in the ECHL began. Our numbers are looking good for it right now. We're working on adding a couple more last-second promotions, a lot of freebies and cheap stuff going on the 18th. We'd love for everyone to come down and join us.
Right, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Talking right here to Walt Ruff, also 1650 AM, about the Admirals. And, of course, there's always something for everyone, a lot of tradition right there. But one thing I've noticed, too, about the Admirals and the new ownership and the leadership and the management is they've really let you be all-inclusive, get involved in a lot of different ideas, whether it's just the media manager, the radio, the promotions, or different things that you can bring to the table since you're so hands-on yourself.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I feel very privileged to work under this new regime, if you will. I got here on September 1st, and the team was sold on September 28th, so there was our first big move, being sold from the Edmonton Oilers of the National Hockey League to Mango Media Group out of New York. And then they added Michael Santos, a man who has nearly 30 years of NHL assistant general manager leadership position. He's been huge for this organization, and I think a lot of folks have already started to see that in terms of player personnel. And then also during the month of November, Mr. Santos made a coaching change and brought on board Robbie Ftorek. Fans may recognize that name from his days as one of the most talented players back during the NHL and WHA days, and then the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, Boston Bruins, Los Angeles Kings. So between those two men, the tide has most definitely turned, and we couldn't be more excited about what's going on next year with this team. But not only on the ice, you hit the nail on the head there, Greg, in saying the new ownership has just been very, very hands-on in terms of allowing all of us to let our ideas flow and kind of have that creative reign, because we know that we needed to make some changes in here in order to get the good folks of the Hampton Roads area back on our side. And we're really excited about the things that we have done and the things that are to come for the 2017-18 season.
Right, too, because there's so much before and after a game. It's not just game day, and the good thing about the road games is you have time to get ready for the next homestand.
Absolutely. We had a very balanced schedule this year. I think there will be some changes to that next year. We led the league with 9 Wednesday home games, and we found that feedback from the fans this year that Wednesdays aren't exactly the most beneficial for them, so we're going to make some changes to that for next year's schedule. May even be mixing in some Sunday games for the first time in years, so we're really excited about that as well. We want to cater to make sure we have our games on nights where those want to come join us. We understand that obviously Friday, Saturdays are big for them, but also, if Wednesdays don't work for them, we wanted to change that in order to get some more folks in the building. But as you said, the road games definitely allow us to prep and get our promotions straight. We're going to have an even better promotional schedule next year. We tried to add a lot of last-second stuff this year because the owners wanted to make it known that we were trying new things and see what's going to work for next year and what won't. There's a lot to be excited about in terms of giveaways and promotions for next season already. We can't wait to launch that. Unfortunately, that'll probably be like an August, September thing, but we are really excited for what's coming next year.
How about all the social media and the website?
Absolutely. Brand new website, NorfolkAdmirals.com. Check it out either on your desktop or on your mobile device. It's works compatible with both ways. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Norfolk Admirals, all across the board, standard spelling.
How many more home games left total in March and April combined?
So we've got 2 coming up here this weekend, Friday and Saturday, March 17th and 18th, and then we go on the road for 2 weeks, and we are back to wrap it up with 2 on April 8th and 9th, and just 1 weekday game, which is on March 29th. So add them all together, we are looking at 7 home games the rest of the way.
Walt, all the best to you and the great staff there. Keep up the good work at the Norfolk Scope, and we'll see you at a hockey game very soon, and talk to you next Wednesday right here live on Sports Scene.
Awesome, Greg. Thank you so much for having me on. As always, we appreciate your support.
Thank you so much. Walt Ruff right there from the Norfolk Admirals. I got to tell you, Joe Daniel, he really gets into his job, and you can feel his energy over the airwaves.
Absolutely. You can definitely tell that he's passionate about what he does and what he's talking about and who he's affiliated and working with.
Absolutely. All right, folks, of course, also do a TV show called Sports Highlights in Newport News, and 2 of my former guests I had on there have since moved on. One is the former late, great Phoebus football coach Bill D. He also is an assistant at Old Dominion and Christopher Newport, and was recently the head coach of Oscar Smith. He passed away, as well as Roy Andrew Heath. He is the father of Jim Heath, who is one of the assistant sports information directors at Hampton University, worked for the Apprentice School for several years, went to Bethel High School too as well. Right there, we're talking about Jim Heath's father, gentleman, Roy Andrew Heath, very involved with Christopher Newport's basketball team and statistician as well. Both of them, may their memory be eternal. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages right here live on Sports Scene. Mark your calendar for June 1st through June 4th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the 50th anniversary of this signature event on the peninsula, and it will be special. The Newport News Greek Festival is located at 60 Traverse Road, off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
All right, welcome back live right here to Sports Scene. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Dolph Sand, longtime gentleman with the Washington Bullets and the Washington Wizards, and also Walt Ruff of the Norfolk Admirals. Let's welcome Adam Turner with the Virginia Opera. How are you, my friend?
Great, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Very good. Tell us about the big event coming up in March, Turandot.
Yeah, Turandot. This is a really exciting piece that we're thrilled to offer to our audiences. It hasn't been seen since 2004. And it's one of Puccini's greatest masterpieces, featuring an aria that probably everyone has heard on television, America's Got Talent or any of those talent shows. This is a really wonderful opera.
VA.opera.org, March 17th at 8, March 19th at 2:30, March 21st at 7:30. So only a few shows to see it, but it should be special.
Oh yeah, this is one of those shows that it's all about spectacle and just assembling a lot of people. We have 40 plus voices in the chorus, including 16 children's choristers on top of that 40 plus. And then there's over 50 players in the orchestra, lots of main stage singers. So you've got a cast of literally well over 100 people singing and playing for you. It's just going to be a feast for the eyes and ears.
This is the one of the last shows for the season, and of course, there's always next season too.
Well, yeah, this is the perfect time to renew your subscriptions and start buying tickets for next year, because we're just going to up the ante next year too with some really, really great new pieces to our company, including Samson and Delilah, everybody's favorite Bible story. Mm-hmm. It's another piece, kind of like Turandot, very grand and full of spectacle, and a big chorus and orchestra. And then we finish out the season with Lucia, of course, a bel canto masterpiece that features singing of pyrotechnic abilities.
And of course, the Harrison Opera House is a beautiful venue to showcase theater and opera both.
Yeah, if you've never been, it's a really beautiful theater, and I think sometimes people are scared away. They think, I have to wear a tux, or I have to wear a fancy evening gown or something like that to even go to the opera. But that's really not true. That's just a myth, and everybody they wear whatever they want to at our opera house, and it's a very comfortable place to be transported by this incredible music.
Absolutely, of course. Several good shows coming up of Turandot, of course, Friday the 17th, Sunday the 19th, Tuesday the 21st, coming up right there at the Virginia Opera. And, of course, then you start focusing on next year's events. What do you do during the off-season?
Well, during the off-season, we're preparing for all that, of course. Personally, I do a lot of traveling. I go across the country scouting out talent. Hearing productions at summer opera festivals, and that's actually where I found a lot of our singers for next season, is hearing them across the country this past summer. And this summer, actually, I'm also guest conducting at a summer opera festival in Colorado, Central City Opera, in which I'll be conducting Carmen. Mm-hmm. So that's the summer plan for me.
I got to ask you, since you're in the arts business, when you watch the Oscars or the Grammys or the Emmys, do you like it when some of the actors or singers are mentioning politics, or should they stay away from that?
Well, the politics is always kind of something that people should tread lightly. I really don't like when I go to a concert. For instance, I was in Vegas last weekend for a quick getaway vacation, and I went to a concert. Saw Cher, of all people. That's a legendary performer. And really thought, I wonder if she's going to say anything about the political climate right now. But, she didn't. And I think that's wonderful. I think it's very respectful of an audience, and just basically allows people to escape and relax and be comforted by the music without getting anything else, clouding their appreciation and ability to just, let loose.
I totally agree. Well, all the best, Adam. A big event coming up, Turandot at the Harrison Opera House in March. For more, go to VAopera.org, connect on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. All the best, my friend, and salute to Lana and the great staff over there.
Thank you. I will. Thanks so much, Greg.
Thank you. My pleasure. All right. Also want to thank the good friends at Panera right there at 6255 College Drive in the Harborview section of Suffolk. Go by and see Christian and the great staff. Give them a call at 483-3670. Soups, sandwiches, salads, breakfast, beverages, bagels. They got excellent Thai garden, chicken wonton, grilled cheese sandwiches. Panera is now the only nationwide chain that they can say every item on their menu is 100% clean. They will deliver. They also offer great catering for large groups as well. Don't wait. Choose the rapid pickup option, all at Panera. Delicious food. It's 100% clean. Open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and late night. Right there, conveniently located in Harborview at 6255 College Drive. PaneraBread.com. Excellent. All right, let's get to what teased me off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
And also CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. NASCAR season is underway. Baseball is going on. NHL. Joe Daniel says UFC as well. NBA, college basketball, March Madness, golf, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook. Log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Great events. Check out their website for some great events. They got some Wounded Warriors going on. They got a golf tournament as well. They've got as well the Mother Shuckers event coming up later in the spring. Great appetizers, burger, pasta, seafood. Go by and see Chef Leon, Matt, and Mark. Chef Leon is at Shore Drive. 2 great locations, delicious fresh food at CP Shuckers as well. All right, what teased me off? Going to the restaurant and the silverware is not on the table. You have to ask for it. Another thing you have to ask.
Yeah, but it should come at least when you get your drinks.
Right. Exactly. Or having to get out of your seat for any reason can be really inconvenient, awkward, and disrupt the conversation.
Yeah, I'm one of those, though, that I actually do get out of my seat quite often, and it's probably not very good, and the wait staff probably doesn't like it when I do. But if I need something, like I don't want to have to wait, I want it immediately. So I'll find them. I'm one of those.
Right. All right, skateboarding. Enough. Adults on busy highways. All right, I can see kids skateboard.
On highways?
Yeah, on highways. And bike riding the opposite direction as well.
Wow.
You've seen that a lot.
Well, it's safer, like if you are walking or running, I was told that it is safer to go against the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on the highway, not a wise idea. Take back roads.
This isn't fun too, Joe Daniel. When you go to the bank and the bank sign says "Next teller, please," or the line is closed when there's 20 people in line.
Yeah,
that's really on a Friday. That's really tough.
Yeah.
All right, ordering groceries online. This thing does not work. I've heard from good sources that you still have to wait and make sure, double check the eggs and the milk are proper. Errors do happen. It ends up wasting more time because sometimes something might break or spill.
My wife actually does this, and this is how we actually get a lot of our groceries, is that we pre-order it online. I think Walmart does this, and so we pre-order it, and then we just pull it up, and I think we have a ticket or something, and then they check it. And my wife hasn't had, I don't believe, any complaints thus far. We also do Uberwise, where we order it and then they deliver it to our door that way. But when we lived in San Diego for a while, they had this service, or Amazon had a service called Amazon Fresh, and that was also a really, really great service where you order it from Amazon and they deliver it to you within even just a few hours, like I think 8 hours or so. I liked it. We've never had any problems with it.
A few things left. People walking in front of cars. Jeans with holes in the front, and they sell them. They look trashy, folks. Buy some regular brand new khakis. And how about this? The sun glare in the morning when you're first driving early in the morning.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Or even late
travel
evening.
Against the sun, yeah.
Yeah, the clock is going to change here in a few weeks as well. All right, I want to thank our great guest today. Excellent guest. Great show. Dolph Sand with the Washington Wizards. Also Walt Ruff with the Norfolk Admirals. Adam Turner talking little arts with the Virginia Opera. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Shop this season in March at HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Find my Twitter handles at gjbtv.com, at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Big A10 weekend going on at the Richmond Coliseum this weekend. I'll be making an appearance there on Saturday and Sunday. CBS Sports Network Saturday, and of course the ESPN family of networks for the A10 women's basketball tournament at the Richmond Coliseum going on as well. We'll be having our March Madness special in a couple weeks. Rick Kiefner will also be as a guest that week, a couple weeks from now, part of Old Dominion. And Rick Kiefner has been named the substitute host for my show when I take a vacation. Rick Kiefner will be filling in for me on Sports Scene. He's been part of Old Dominion for over 40 years. For Joe Daniel and all our great guests, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon. Stay cool.
The best of News Talk Radio in Hampton Roads, AM 1650, WHKT Portsmouth. We are the answer.